It's our 18th anniversary, and my wife just told me she's been screwing her boss, right here in Romano's, the fanciest restaurant in our mill town, with half the locals pretending not to stare at us from their red vinyl booths. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. Yes, I slept with Derek. Emily hisses across the candlelit table, her perfectly manicured fingers wrapped around a wine glass that costs more than I make in a day. And I don't regret it one damn bit, Mike. I take a slow sip of my beer, the cheapest thing on the menu, and lean back in my chair. The irony isn't lost on me. 18 years ago, we couldn't afford to eat anywhere but McDonald's. Now she's making six figures selling McMansions to rich folks from Boston, and I'm still the blue-collar contractor who built this relationship from nothing. Well, that's honest, I say, keeping my voice level. Brutally honest, actually. She stands up, smoothing down her designer dress. The same black number she wore to the Real Estate Awards banquet last month, where she won Agent of the Year, where Derek Morrison, her slimy boss with his fake tan and BMW, gave her a congratulatory kiss that lasted just a little too long. I'm done pretending, Mike. Done pretending we're happy. Done pretending you're enough for me. She grabs her Prada purse, another recent acquisition. Derek's waiting outside. Through the window, I can see Morrison's silver BMW idling in the parking lot like some kind of getaway car. The man himself sits behind the wheel, probably checking his hair in the rearview mirror. You know what's funny? I call out as Emily heads for the door. I've been planning something special for tomorrow, a real announcement. Been working on it for months. She pauses, one hand on the door handle. What's that supposed to mean? I raise my beer in a mock toast. You'll see. The whole town will see. The restaurant has gone dead quiet. Even old Mrs. Patterson from the flower shop has stopped pretending to read her menu. Emily's face flushes red, but she pushes through the door anyway. I watch through the window as she climbs into Morrison's passenger seat. He leans over to kiss her, making sure everyone inside can see. Classy. I finish my beer and leave a 20 on the table. The waitress, a girl I went to high school with, gives me a sympathetic look. You okay, Mike? Never better, Jenny. Never better. But that's a lie. I've been dying inside for months, ever since I found those text messages on Emily's phone, the explicit photos, the hotel receipts, the thank you note from Morrison tucked inside her gym bag like some kind of trophy. Thanks for last night. You're incredible. Can't wait to do it again. My truck starts on the third try. Another reminder of the gap between Emily's world and mine. She drives a brand new Lexus SUV, all leather and heated seats. I drive a 15-year-old Ford with rust spots and a temperamental engine. But I built this truck's engine myself, fixed every problem it ever had. And I'm about to fix the biggest problem in my life the same way, with my hands, my brain, and a whole lot of patience. The drive home takes me through downtown Millbrook, Maine, past the shuttered textile factory that once employed half the town, past Murphy's Diner, where the coffee's still 50 cents and the gossip flows like water, past the Iron Horse Bar, where guys like me drink away their troubles and pretend tomorrow will be different. Our house sits on Elm Street, a modest 2-story colonial I've spent 15 years renovating. New roof, new siding, new windows, all installed by me on weekends and evenings after 12-hour days on construction sites. The front porch sags a little, but it's solid, like everything I build. Emily's Lexus isn't in the driveway. Of course not. She's probably at Morrison's place right now, celebrating her newfound freedom. Inside, the house feels different, emptier, like something essential has been sucked out of it. I grab another beer from the fridge and sit at the kitchen table, staring at the stack of mail Emily left unopened. bills, mostly. A few catalogs for expensive furniture we can't afford. And there, at the bottom of the pile, is the envelope I've been waiting for. Hartwell Investigations is printed in the corner. Inside is a thick manila folder containing 3 months' worth of surveillance photos, financial records, and documented evidence of Emily's affair. Every hotel visit, every lunch date, every lie she told me about working late. My phone buzzes. A text from our daughter Emma, away at college in Boston. "Dad, I saw Mom's Facebook post. Are you okay?" I check Emily's social media. She's already changed her relationship status to "It's complicated" and posted a cryptic message about new beginnings and following your heart. The comments are pouring in. Her friends offering support. Her enemies smelling blood in the water. I text Emma back. "I'm fine, sweetheart. Don't worry about your old man." But I'm not fine. I'm angry. 18 years of marriage, of building something together, thrown away for a man who probably can't even change his own oil. A man who inherited his real estate company from his daddy and thinks he's God's gift to small-town Maine. I open my laptop and pull up the folder I've been compiling for months. Photos of Morrison's car parked outside various hotels. Screenshots of his own social media posts bragging about his conquests to his golf buddies. Financial records showing how he's been skimming money from property sales. And the piece de resistance, a video I recorded last week when I followed them to the Riverside Inn. Nothing pornographic, just the two of them entering room 237 together, then leaving 3 hours later looking thoroughly satisfied. My phone rings. The caller ID shows my best friend Tommy Kowalski. "Mike, you bastard. What the hell happened at Romano's? Jenny called me, said Emily walked out on you." Tommy owns Kowalski's boxing gym, a converted warehouse downtown where guys like us go to hit things legally. He's also a former cop who knows where all the bodies are buried in this town. "She's been screwing Morrison," I tell him. "Tonight she decided to make it official." "Jesus Christ. You want me to come over?" "Nah, I'm good, but I might need a favor tomorrow." "Name it." "I'm going to destroy them both. Legally, publicly, and completely. You in?" There's a pause. Then Tommy chuckles. "Mike, I've been waiting for you to grow some balls for 20 years. Hell yes, I'm in." After I hang up, I sit in the dark kitchen for a long time, thinking, planning. Emily wants a war? She's about to get one. But this won't be some messy divorce where lawyers get rich and everyone loses. This will be surgical, precise, devastating. I pull out my phone and scroll through my contacts until I find the number for Jack Sullivan, a private investigator Tommy recommended. Sullivan specializes in what he calls reputation management, digging up dirt on people and making sure it sees the light of day at exactly the right moment. Sullivan here. "Jack, it's Mike Brennan. Tommy Kowalski gave me your number. I need your services." "What kind of services?" "The kind that ruins people's lives, legally." He chuckles. "My favorite kind. When do you want to meet?" "Tomorrow morning, early. I'll bring coffee." I wake up at 5 a.m., same as always. Construction habits die hard, even when your world is falling apart. Emily's side of the bed is still empty, still cold. I check my phone, no messages, no missed calls. She's probably curled up in Morrison's king-sized bed right now, planning her new life. Good for her. I'm planning too. The coffee maker gurgles to life as I scroll through social media. Emily's Facebook post from last night has 37 comments now. Her sister Jennifer, a bitter divorce attorney from Portland, has weighed in with supportive messages about toxic relationships and finding yourself. Her real estate colleagues are more cautious, offering vague platitudes about difficult times. But the real goldmine is Morrison's Instagram. The idiot posted a photo of champagne glasses at 11 p.m. last night, captioned, "Celebrating new beginnings with someone special." The location tag shows his apartment complex. I screenshot everything. Jack Sullivan arrives at 6:30 sharp, carrying 2 cups of Dunkin' Donuts coffee and a leather briefcase that's seen better days. He's a small, wiry man in his 50s, with the kind of forgettable face that's perfect for surveillance work. "So," he says, settling into my kitchen chair, "Tommy tells me you want to wage war on your cheating wife and her boss." "That's the general idea." "Good. I hate cheaters, especially rich ones who think they're untouchable." He opens his briefcase and pulls out a tablet. "Tell me everything." For the next hour, I lay out the whole story. The affair, the lies, the humiliation. Sullivan takes notes, occasionally asking for clarification or additional details. When I show him the evidence I've already collected, his eyes light up. "You've got good instincts, Mike. Most people just want to confront the cheaters and scream a lot. You're thinking strategically. I want them destroyed. Both of them. But I want it to be legal, and I want it to stick." Sullivan grins. "Morrison's the key. Take him down, and your wife falls with him. I've been watching that prick for years, waiting for someone to hire me to investigate him. He's dirty as hell." "How dirty?" "Real estate fraud, for starters. He's been inflating property values and skimming the difference. Plus, he's got a gambling problem his daddy doesn't know about. Owes serious money to some very unforgiving people in Boston." This keeps getting better. "What do you need from me?" "Access to your wife's computer and phone, if possible, financial records, and about $5,000 for expenses." $5,000 is most of my savings, but it'll be worth every penny." "Done." "One more thing," Sullivan says, standing to leave. "This is going to get ugly. Real ugly. You sure you want to go down this road?" I think about 18 years of marriage, of working double shifts to pay for Emily's real estate license, of being treated like the hired help at her company parties, of finding that thank you note from Morrison and feeling something die inside my chest. I'm sure. Good. Because there's no going back once we start. After Sullivan leaves, I drive to Morrison Realty. It's a glass and chrome monstrosity on Main Street, all modern angles and expensive landscaping. Morrison's BMW sits in the reserved parking spot closest to the door. I park across the street and wait. At 9:15, Emily's Lexus pulls into the lot. She's wearing the same dress from last night, wrinkled now and slightly disheveled. The walk of shame, small-town style. She hurries inside without looking around. 15 minutes later, she comes back out, now wearing a spare outfit she must keep in her office. Morrison follows her, straightening his tie and grinning like he just won the lottery. They're not even trying to hide it anymore. I follow Morrison's BMW at a distance as it heads toward the Millbrook Country Club. The monthly Chamber of Commerce breakfast. I'd forgotten about it. Perfect. Half the town's business owners will be there, including several people who hate Morrison's guts. The country club parking lot is full of expensive cars and pickup trucks, an uneasy mix of old money and new, of inherited wealth and self-made success. I park near the back and walk toward the clubhouse, a sprawling brick building that's trying too hard to look historic. Inside, the dining room buzzes with conversation. Morrison holds court at a corner table, regaling his audience with some story that involves lots of hand gestures. Emily sits beside him, playing the part of the devoted assistant, or whatever she's calling herself now. I grab a cup of coffee from the buffet and find a seat near the back. From here, I can see everything without being too obvious about it. The guest speaker is some economic development consultant from Augusta, droning on about revitalizing post-industrial communities. Most of the audience looks bored. Morrison keeps checking his phone, probably reading the congratulatory messages on his Instagram post. During the Q&A session, I stand up. "I have a question about business ethics," I say, loud enough to carry across the room. "What's the best way to handle situations where local business leaders engage in, let's say, questionable personal conduct that might reflect poorly on the community?" The room goes quiet. Morrison's face turns red. Emily looks like she wants to disappear under the table. The consultant, oblivious to the subtext, launches into a generic answer about maintaining professional standards and leading by example. That's interesting, I continue, because I've always believed that a man's character shows most clearly in how he treats his commitments, his marriage vows, for instance, or his business partnerships. Now everyone's staring. Morrison starts to stand, but Emily grabs his arm, whispering something urgent in his ear. "Do you have a specific question?" the consultant asks, clearly uncomfortable. Just wondering how the community should respond when certain individuals choose to celebrate their new beginnings so publicly. I hold up my phone, showing Morrison's Instagram post. Especially when those beginnings come at the expense of other people's marriages. The room erupts in whispers. Morrison's face has gone from red to purple. He shakes off Emily's restraining hand and stands up. He snarls. "You want to do this here? In front of everyone?" "I'm just asking questions, Derek. About business ethics, community standards, that sort of thing." "Gentlemen, please." The chamber president tries to intervene, but it's too late. Morrison starts walking toward me, his hands clenched into fists. "You pathetic loser. Your wife came to me because you couldn't satisfy her, because you're nothing but a washed-up construction worker who—" I don't let him finish. Instead, I step aside as he reaches me, and his momentum carries him straight into the coffee station. Hot coffee splashes everywhere. The expensive urn crashes to the floor. Morrison slips and falls, landing hard on his ass in a puddle of coffee and broken china. The room goes silent. "Careful there, Derek," I say, offering him a hand up. "Wouldn't want you to get hurt. Emily's got enough to worry about already." He slaps my hand away and scrambles to his feet, his expensive suit stained and dripping. "This isn't over, Brennan." "No," I agree. "It's just getting started." I walk out of the clubhouse with my head high, ignoring the stares and whispers. Behind me, I hear Emily's voice, high and panicked, trying to explain the situation to anyone who will listen. My phone buzzes as I reach my truck. A text from an unknown number. "Nice work in there. This is going to be fun." Sullivan. I look around the parking lot until I spot him, sitting in a nondescript sedan near the entrance. He raises his coffee cup in a mock salute. Phase 1 is complete. Morrison's public image just took a major hit, and the gossip mill is already churning. By tonight, everyone in town will know about the affair. By tomorrow, they'll be looking for more dirt. And Sullivan and I are going to give them plenty to find. The story spreads through Millbrook like wildfire in August. By noon, 3 different people have called to ask if it's true about Emily and Morrison. By evening, it's the top topic at Murphy's Diner and the Iron Horse Bar. I spend the day working on a kitchen renovation across town, trying to focus on crown molding and cabinet installation instead of the nuclear bomb I just detonated in my marriage. But every time I check my phone, there's another message, another concerned friend, another nosy neighbor pretending to care. Tommy calls around 5. Jesus Christ, Mike. The whole town's talking about what happened at the country club. Morrison's been calling everyone he knows, trying to do damage control. Good. Let him squirm. Emily's been trying to reach you. Called the gym looking for you about an hour ago. What did you tell her? That you were busy. Which is true. You're busy destroying her life. I laugh despite myself. Tommy's always been direct. Listen, he continues, I've got some news. Remember Billy Hartwell from high school? Works for the state police now? Yeah. He owes me a favor from way back. I might have mentioned that certain local business owners could use some extra scrutiny from the tax boys. Purely hypothetical, of course. Of course. Hypothetically speaking, Morrison Realty might want to make sure all their paperwork is in order. This is why I love Tommy. He thinks like a chess player, always 3 moves ahead. After work, I drive past Morrison's apartment complex. His BMW isn't in its usual spot, but Emily's Lexus is there, parked under the security light like a beacon. I circle the block and park, where I can see the building entrance. At 8:30, Morrison's car pulls in. He gets out slowly, like an old man, and trudges toward the building. His expensive suit is wrinkled, his usually perfect hair disheveled. The country club incident really rattled him. Good. My phone rings. Emily's number. Mike, we need to talk. Do we? Please, can you come over? To Derek's place? So you can ambush me with your boyfriend? I don't think so. It's not like that, we need to discuss what happens next. What happens next is you file for divorce and try to take half of everything I've built. That's what happens next. There's a long pause. I never meant for it to happen this way. Which part? The affair or getting caught? Mike, please, don't make this harder than it has to be. Harder? I laugh, but there's no humor in it. Emily, you threw away 18 years of marriage for a man who can't even handle a little public embarrassment without falling on his ass. You want to talk about hard? You humiliated us in front of the entire business community. I asked a question about ethics. If you felt humiliated, maybe that says something about your choices. Another pause. What do you want? I want you to understand that actions have consequences. You wanted to play games? Fine. But I'm better at games than you think. I hang up before she can respond. The next morning, Sullivan calls with an update. Morrison's in deep trouble, he says. I've been digging into his finances all night. The gambling debts are worse than I thought. He owes almost $200,000 to some very nasty people in Boston. He's been using company funds to make payments. Can you prove it? Give me another day or two. I've got a contact at his bank who might be willing to share some information, strictly off the record. What about Emily? She's clean, financially speaking, but she's been helping Morrison cover his tracks, probably without realizing it, signing documents authorizing transfers. If this blows up, she could face charges too. Perfect. Emily always prided herself on being smart, careful, professional. The idea of facing criminal charges would terrify her more than divorce. There's something else, Sullivan continues. Morrison's been having problems with other women too. I found 3 different harassment complaints filed against him over the past 5 years, all settled out of court, all sealed. Can you unseal them? Not legally, but information has a way of leaking out, especially when people get angry enough. After breakfast, I drive to Morrison Realty. The parking lot is nearly empty, unusual for a Thursday morning. Through the windows, I can see Emily at her desk, talking animatedly on the phone. Damage control. I park across the street and call the office number. Morrison Realty, this is Emily. Mrs. Brennan, I say, disguising my voice slightly. I'm calling about the property listing on Maple Street. I heard there might be some issues with the title work. I'm sorry, who is this? A concerned buyer. Word around town is that Morrison Realty might not be the most reliable company to work with these days. Something about financial irregularities? She hangs up. I call back immediately. This time a different voice answers. Morrison himself. Morrison Realty. Derek, it's Mike Brennan. You son of a... Now. Is that any way to talk to a potential customer? I'm thinking about selling my house, and I wanted to get your professional opinion on the market. Go to hell. That's not very professional. What would your father say about that kind of customer service? Morrison's father is the previous owner of the company, now retired but still influential in local business circles. The old man built his reputation on integrity and professionalism, qualities his son clearly didn't inherit. What do you want, Brennan? I want you to understand something, Derek. You think you won because you stole my wife, but you didn't win anything. You just painted a target on your back. Are you threatening me? I'm promising you. By the time I'm done, you'll wish you'd never heard the name Brennan. I hang up and immediately call Sullivan. It's time to escalate, I tell him. What did you have in mind? Morrison's apartment, tonight. I want to send a message he won't forget. Mike, I can't be part of anything illegal. Nothing illegal, just some creative property modification. You said he owes money to dangerous people, right? What if those people decided to send their own message? Sullivan is quiet for a moment. That's actually brilliant. Plausible deniability. But you'll need to be careful. I'm always careful. That night, I drive to Morrison's apartment complex with a toolbox full of supplies. The security cameras are old and poorly positioned, typical corners cutting by a cheap landlord. I park 2 blocks away and walk, keeping to the shadows. Morrison's BMW sits in its usual spot, gleaming under the parking lot lights. Such a beautiful car. Such expensive paint. I work quickly and quietly. Sugar in the gas tank is an old myth. It doesn't actually damage engines. But brake fluid on paint? That's a different story. It eats through clear coat like acid, leaving permanent scars. I pour a thin line of brake fluid along the driver's side, spelling out a single word: deadbeat. Then I move to the tires, not slashing. That's too obvious, too criminal. Instead, I use a small tool to loosen the valve stems just enough to cause slow leaks. By morning, all 4 tires will be flat. For the final touch, I attach a note under the windshield wiper. You have 48 hours. Payment overdue. Management. Let Morrison explain that to the police. Let him try to prove it wasn't his Boston creditors sending a message. I'm back in my truck and driving away within 20 minutes. By tomorrow morning, Morrison will understand that his problems are just beginning. My phone buzzes as I pull into my driveway. A text from Emma. Dad, Mom called crying. She says you're trying to destroy her career. What's going on? I stare at the message for a long time before responding. Your mother made her choice, sweetheart. Now she has to live with the consequences. But she's still my mom, and she's still my wife, technically. But that doesn't mean I have to make things easy for her. This isn't like you, Dad. You're scaring me. I set the phone down without responding. Emma's right. This isn't like me. The old Mike would have accepted the situation, filed for divorce quietly, and tried to move on with dignity. But the old Mike was a fool. The old Mike let people walk all over him for 18 years. The new Mike fights back. Morrison discovers his vandalized car at 6 a.m. I know this because he immediately calls the police, and Tommy's contact at the station gives us a heads up. By 7, there's a tow truck in the apartment complex parking lot and a very angry real estate agent pacing around in his bathrobe. I'm drinking coffee in my kitchen when Emily calls. Mike, what did you do? Good morning to you too, dear. I'm fine, thanks for asking. Derek's car was vandalized last night. The police think it was some kind of organized crime message. How terrible. I hope he has good insurance. Don't play dumb with me. I know you did this. Emily, I was home all evening. Ask the neighbors. My truck never left the driveway. This is technically true. I walked to Morrison's place. Besides, why would I vandalize Derek's car when his gambling debts are already doing such a good job of ruining his life? Silence. Then, what gambling debts? Oh, you don't know? Your boyfriend owes about $200,000 to some very unpleasant people in Boston. Apparently he's been using company money to make payments. I'm surprised he hasn't told you. That's impossible. Is it? When's the last time you looked at the company books? Really looked at them, not just signed whatever Derek put in front of you? Another silence. Longer this time. You're lying. Am I? Ask him, Emily. Ask your wonderful boyfriend about his trips to the Mohegan Sun. Ask him about the checks he's been writing to something called Atlantic Financial Services. Ask him why 3 different women have filed harassment complaints against him. You're making this up. I don't have to make anything up. The truth is bad enough. I hang up and immediately call Sullivan. Phase 2 is in motion, I tell him. Emily's starting to ask questions. Good timing. I just got the financial records from my bank contact. Morrison's been skimming money for at least 2 years. And there's something else. He's been inflating property values on sales where Emily was the listing agent. If this comes out, she could lose her license. Perfect. What's our next move? I've got a meeting set up with Morrison's father this afternoon. The old man doesn't know about his son's problems yet, but he's about to. While Sullivan handles the family drama, I focus on the social media campaign. Morrison's Instagram post from 2 nights ago has attracted some interesting comments. People asking pointed questions about his relationship status, his business practices, his recent behavior at the country club. I create a fake account and start adding fuel to the fire. Nothing libelous, just carefully worded questions that make people think. Isn't Derek married? I heard Morrison Realty is having financial problems. My cousin said there were police at Derek's apartment this morning. By noon, Morrison has deleted the original post, but screenshots live forever, and several people have already shared them. Tommy calls with an update from his police contact. Morrison filed a vandalism report, but there's no evidence pointing to you. The deadbeat message and the fake collection notice actually support the organized crime theory. The investigating officer thinks it's connected to Morrison's gambling debts. What gambling debts? I ask innocently. The ones that don't officially exist yet. But Billy Hartwell made some calls to his contacts in Boston. Turns out Morrison is well known at several casinos, and not in a good way. Interesting coincidence. Very interesting. Oh, and there's more good news. The state tax office received an anonymous tip about potential irregularities at Morrison Realty. They're opening an investigation. I spend the afternoon working on a bathroom renovation, but my mind keeps wandering to Emily. Is she starting to realize what kind of man she's chosen? Is she beginning to understand that her perfect new life might be built on lies and stolen money? My phone rings at 4 o'clock. Emma's number. Dad, I just talked to Mom. She's really upset. I imagine she is. She says Derek might be in some kind of trouble. Financial trouble. That's what happens when you make bad choices, sweetheart. But Mom could get in trouble too. She works for his company. This stops me cold. I hadn't considered how all this might affect Emma's opinion of her mother. Emily may be a cheating wife, but she's still Emma's mom. Emma, listen to me. Your mother is a smart woman who made some very stupid decisions. Whatever happens to her, she brought it on herself. But you could stop this, couldn't you? If you wanted to? Could I? Probably. A phone call to Sullivan, telling him to back off. A conversation with Tommy, asking him to call off his police contact. It would be that simple. But then I think about finding those text messages. About Emily's smug smile when she told me about the affair. About Morrison's sneer when he called me a washed-up construction worker. I'm sorry, Emma, but some things can't be undone. I don't even know who you are anymore. She hangs up, and I stare at the phone for a long time. Maybe she's right. Maybe I have become someone different, someone harder, someone willing to burn everything down to get revenge. But if that's what it takes to make them pay, then so be it. Sullivan calls at 6 with a full report. Morrison's father is furious. I showed him the financial records, the gambling debts, everything. He's threatening to cut Derek out of the company entirely. How did Derek take the news? About as well as you'd expect. Lots of shouting, lots of blame shifting. He actually tried to pin the whole thing on Emily, said she was the one pushing him to take risks. Classy. Gets better. The old man wants to meet with Emily tomorrow morning. He's considering filing charges against his own son. What about Emily? She's scared. Really scared. Morrison threw her under the bus completely, told his father that she knew about the financial irregularities and helped cover them up. Did she? Probably not intentionally, but she signed a lot of documents without reading them carefully. In the eyes of the law, that might not matter. Perfect. Emily's whole world is crumbling, and she's finally starting to realize that Morrison isn't the knight in shining armor she thought he was. That evening, I drive to the Iron Horse Bar for a beer and some strategic socializing. The place is packed with the usual crowd, construction workers, mechanics, retired mill workers, and various other members of Millbrook's blue-collar aristocracy. The conversation stops when I walk in. Everyone knows about the affair by now, and they're all waiting to see how I'm handling it. Mike! Big Jim Kowalski, Tommy's cousin, waves me over to the bar. Heard you had some excitement at the country club yesterday. Just asking questions about business ethics, I say, ordering a beer. Seemed like an appropriate venue. The whole bar laughs. These are my people, men who work with their hands, who understand loyalty and betrayal, who don't have much patience for rich boys who think they're better than everyone else. That Morrison's always been a piece of shit, says Danny Murphy, who owns the diner. His old man's decent enough, but the son, pure garbage. I heard he's got gambling problems, adds Pete Rodriguez, a plumber I've worked with on several jobs. Owes money to some dangerous people. Where'd you hear that? I ask, playing innocent. My brother-in-law works at the bank, says Morrison's been bouncing checks all over town. The gossip mill is working perfectly. By tomorrow, everyone in Millbrook will know about Morrison's financial problems. His reputation will be destroyed, his business will be under investigation, and his father will probably disown him, and Emily will be left holding the bag. My phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. We need to talk. Meet me at the Riverside Inn, room 237, come alone. Room 237, the same room where I recorded Emily and Morrison together just last week. The irony is almost too perfect. I finish my beer and head for the door. Where are you going, Mike? Jim asks. To end this thing once and for all. The Riverside Inn sits on the outskirts of town, a faded motor lodge that's seen better decades. Room 237 is on the second floor, overlooking the parking lot and the dark river beyond. I climb the external stairs slowly, my heart pounding with anticipation and something that might be fear. The door is slightly ajar. I push it open and step inside. Emily sits on the edge of the bed, still wearing her business suit but looking disheveled and exhausted. Her perfect makeup is smudged, her hair messed up. She looks like she's been crying. Close the door, she says without looking up. I do, but I don't move any closer. This is cozy. Same room where you and Derek had your little rendezvous last week. She flinches. How did you? Never mind. I don't want to know. Where's your boyfriend? I thought he'd be here to protect you. Derek's gone. Packed up and left town this afternoon. His father fired him, froze his accounts, and threatened to have him arrested. She finally looks at me, and her eyes are red and swollen. He didn't even say goodbye, just sent me a text saying he was sorry and that he'd contact me when things settled down. I almost feel bad for her. Almost. So the knight in shining armor turned out to be a coward. Who could have seen that coming? You did this. Her voice is flat, emotionless. You destroyed him. You destroyed us. I didn't do anything except ask some questions and let the truth come out. If Derek couldn't handle the truth, that's not my fault. Don't pretend this was about truth. This was about revenge, about punishing me for leaving you. She's not wrong, but I'm not about to admit it. You want to know what this was about? I move closer, and she shrinks back slightly. This was about consequences. You thought you could humiliate me, throw away 18 years of marriage, and just walk away without paying a price. You thought wrong. I never meant to hurt you. Bullshit. You meant to hurt me every time you snuck off to meet Derek, every time you lied about working late, every time you came home from screwing him and pretended to be my loving wife. She starts crying again. I was unhappy, Mike. We both were. We've been going through the motions for years. So you decided to blow everything up instead of talking to me about it. Would you have listened? Really? Or would you have just promised to change and then gone right back to being the same distant workaholic husband you've always been? The accusation hits harder than I expected, because there's some truth in it. I have been distant. I have been a workaholic. I have taken our marriage for granted. But that doesn't excuse what she did. Maybe you're right, I say. Maybe I wasn't the perfect husband. But I was faithful. I was honest. I didn't betray the vows we made. And now you've destroyed my career, my reputation, everything I worked for. Are you satisfied? Not yet. She looks up sharply. What do you mean? I pull out my phone and show her a video file. Remember this place? This room? Last Tuesday night around 8 o'clock? Her face goes white. You recorded us? Just you arriving and leaving. Nothing explicit, but definitely incriminating. I put the phone away. Along with the financial records showing Derek's embezzlement, the harassment complaints from other women, and about 50 screenshots of his social media posts bragging about his conquests. What do you want? I want you to understand that your boyfriend was using you. The harassment complaints? One of them mentions a real estate agent who helped him cover up his activities. Guess who that was? She stares at me in horror. That's impossible. You signed documents without reading them. You authorized transfers without asking questions. You helped him launder money through fake property deals. Most of this is speculation on my part, but her reaction tells me I'm close to the truth. When the state investigation is finished, you're going to be facing criminal charges. You're lying. Am I? Check your email, Emily. Check the message you got from the real estate commission this afternoon. She fumbles for her phone with shaking hands. Her face crumbles as she reads. Preliminary suspension pending investigation, she whispers. How did you know? Because I've been planning this for months. Every move, every revelation, every consequence. You wanted to play games with my life? Fine. But I'm better at games than you ever imagined. She throws her phone across the room, and it shatters against the wall. You bastard, you complete bastard. I'm the bastard. I'm not the one who cheated. I'm not the one who lied for months. I'm not the one who threw away our marriage for a criminal. Derek's not a criminal. Derek's a thief, a liar, and a coward who ran away the moment things got difficult. And you chose him over me. She collapses back onto the bed, sobbing. For a moment, I feel something like pity. This is the woman I loved for 18 years, the woman I married, bought a house with, raised a daughter with. But then I remember the text messages, the lies, the humiliation, the pity dies. There's one more thing, I say, pulling out an envelope. DNA test results. She stops crying and looks up at me in confusion. What? Emma's DNA test. You know, one of those ancestry things kids are always doing? Interesting results. This is a complete bluff. Emma never took a DNA test, but Emily doesn't know that, and the look of panic on her face tells me everything I need to know. Mike, please. 18 years, Emily. 18 years I raised that girl thinking she was mine. 18 years of little league games and school plays and college tuition payments. She is yours. In every way that matters, she's yours. But not biologically. Is she Derek's or someone else's? How many affairs have there been, Emily? Just Derek? I swear, just Derek. And Emma is your daughter, Mike. She has to be. But the doubt is there now, in her voice and her eyes. And that doubt will eat her alive, just like it's been eating me since I found those text messages. Doesn't matter now, I say, putting the envelope away. Derek's gone, your career's over, and our marriage is finished. You've lost everything. What about Emma? She needs her mother. Emma's an adult. She can make her own choices about who she wants in her life. I turn toward the door, then pause. Oh, and Emily? The room's paid for through tomorrow morning. I figured you might need some time to figure out what you're going to do next. Where am I supposed to go? I can't afford my own place without my real estate income. That's not my problem anymore. I open the door and step outside into the cool night air. Behind me, I can hear Emily crying again, but I don't look back. My phone rings as I reach my truck, Tommy's number. Mike, you need to get down to the town square. Now. Why? What's happening? Morrison came back. He's drunk off his ass and making a scene. Says he's going to tell everyone the truth about what really happened. I check my watch. 9:30. The town square will be busy. Teenagers hanging out, families finishing dinner at the outdoor restaurants, couples taking evening walks. Perfect audience for whatever Morrison has to say. I'll be right there. The town square is chaos when I arrive. Morrison stands on the steps of the old courthouse, swaying drunkenly and shouting at a growing crowd of onlookers. His expensive suit is wrinkled and stained, his hair disheveled. "All lies," he's saying as I approach. "Mike Brennan is a psychopath. He destroyed my life because he can't handle the fact that his wife chose a better man." Some people in the crowd are filming with their phones. This is going to be all over social media within the hour. "Emily Brennan is a wonderful woman trapped in a loveless marriage," Morrison continues. "I gave her what her husband couldn't: passion, excitement, a real future. You gave her criminal liability and a ruined career," I call out, pushing through the crowd. Morrison spins around, nearly losing his balance. "There he is! The man who's been stalking me, vandalizing my property, destroying my business." "I haven't done anything illegal, Derek. Can you say the same?" The crowd murmurs. Everyone knows about the embezzlement investigation by now. "You planted evidence. You fabricated financial records." "I don't need to fabricate anything. The truth is bad enough." I turn to address the crowd. "This man stole over $200,000 from his own company. He used that money to pay gambling debts and fund his lifestyle while lying to everyone who trusted him." "That's not true." "Then why did your father fire you? Why are the state police investigating your books? Why did you run away this afternoon instead of staying to fight the charges?" Morrison's face turns red. "Because of you. Because you poisoned everyone against me." "I didn't have to poison anyone. I just told them the truth." He lunges at me, but he's too drunk to be effective. I sidestep easily, and he stumbles past me, falling to his knees on the courthouse steps. The crowd gasps. Someone laughs. "This is what you chose, Emily," I say, loud enough for everyone to hear. "This pathetic, drunken coward who steals from his own family and runs away when things get tough." Morrison struggles to his feet. "I loved her. I still love her." "You used her, just like you used everyone else." I pull out my phone and show the crowd Morrison's Instagram post from 2 nights ago. "Look at this. He was bragging about his conquest on social media while my wife was still wearing her wedding ring." The crowd's murmur turns angry. These are small-town people who understand loyalty and commitment, even if they don't always live up to those ideals themselves. "You destroyed us," Morrison screams. "You destroyed everything." "No, Derek. You destroyed everything the moment you decided to steal from your father and seduce a married woman. I just made sure everyone knew about it." Police sirens wail in the distance. Someone must have called about the disturbance. Morrison hears them too. His face crumbles, and suddenly he looks like what he really is: a spoiled, middle-aged child who never learned to face consequences. "This isn't over," he says, but there's no fight left in him. "Yes, it is." I turn to walk away, then pause. "Oh, and Derek? Emily's waiting for you at the Riverside Inn, room 237. But something tells me you won't be going back there." The police cars pull up as I reach my truck. I watch from across the square as 2 officers help Morrison to his feet and guide him toward one of the cars. He's not under arrest, just being removed from the scene. But the symbolism is perfect. My phone buzzes. A text from Sullivan. "Saw the video on Facebook. Nice work. Consider our business concluded." Another text, this one from Tommy. "Holy shit, Mike. You actually did it. You destroyed them both." And finally, one from Emma. "Dad, I saw what happened at the town square. Mom called me crying. I don't know what to think anymore." I stare at that last message for a long time before responding. "Think about this, sweetheart. Actions have consequences. Your mother learned that tonight. So did Derek. What about you? What are the consequences for you?" I look around the town square, at the people still talking excitedly about what they just witnessed, at the police cars driving away with Morrison in the back seat, at the courthouse steps where I just publicly humiliated the man who stole my wife. "I can live with mine," I text back. And for the first time in months, that's actually true. I drive home through the quiet streets of Millbrook. Past the shuttered mill and the all-night diner, past the boxing gym and the Iron Horse bar. This is my town, these are my people, and they all know now that Mike Brennan isn't someone you mess with. Emily will probably leave town eventually, start over somewhere else, assuming she avoids criminal charges. Morrison's already gone, probably driving back to Boston with his tail between his legs. But I'll still be here, still fixing houses, still building things with my hands, still living the blue-collar life that Emily found so embarrassing. The difference is, now everyone knows that the quiet contractor on Elm Street is capable of total devastating revenge when pushed too far. I pull into my driveway and sit in the truck for a moment, looking at the house I've spent 15 years renovating. It looks different now. Smaller, maybe. Or maybe I'm the one who's different. My phone rings one last time. Emily's number. Mike, please, we need to talk about what happens next. There is no next, Emily. You made your choice. Now live with it. What about Emma? What about our family? We stopped being a family the night you decided to screw Derek Morrison. Everything after that was just cleanup. I hang up and turn off the phone. Tomorrow, there will be more calls, more drama, more consequences to deal with. The divorce proceedings, the criminal investigations, the gossip and speculation that will follow both of us for months. But tonight, I'm done. I walk up the front steps of my house now, not ours, and unlock the door. Inside, everything is quiet and clean and mine. On the kitchen table, I spread out the photos and documents that Sullivan compiled over the past few months. Evidence of Emily's affair, Morrison's crimes, and my own methodical destruction of both their lives. I should probably destroy all of it, but I don't. Instead, I put it all in a file folder and lock it in my desk drawer. Insurance in case either of them ever decides to come after me again. Because Mike Brennan may be a blue-collar contractor from a dying mill town, but he's also the man who took down Derek Morrison and Emily Brennan without breaking a single law, and that's a reputation worth protecting.